ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, we've all heard of it. It's everywhere, right? This again, search, you put in prompts. The cool thing I want to discuss here with ChatGPT that I like that a lot of other platforms may not have is custom GPTs. So businesses as well as individuals could create custom GPTs. What that means is that they have their own dogs, right? So they're like, oh, borrow my dog. My dog knows how to fetch flowers, okay? So I'm gonna have you borrow my dog so my dog can fetch you flowers. My dog knows how to do your taxes. Here's my version of my dog that knows how to do your taxes. Maybe you could use my tax dog to help you do your taxes, right? So that's what custom GPTs are. Does that analogy make sense? All right, perfect. I was like, I don't know if we're gonna go over our heads here, but that's what the custom GPTs are, and that's a cool thing that ChatGPT offers. Be careful. These are people. Sorry, me and this thing are just fighting all day. These are people that are making GPTs, and again, these dogs don't have as much training. So as you all do searches on it, and as the individual builds it out more, then it will get better at the task. So take it with a grain of salt when you're using any version of any AI, but the custom GPTs, just be mindful of this is an individual, they fed information into it, you don't know what the individual's backgrounds are, what their interests are, what they're trying to do, we don't know. And so there may be little things that you're like, wait a minute, that's kind of weird. Why is that in here? So just be mindful when you're using this, but it can be a very helpful tool, right? So just leveraging a person's expertise. And then DALL-E 3, this is where the art one comes in. It's a little, again, controversial here, right? Because sometimes you can literally type in, make me a portrait of a horse riding a avocado in the style of Picasso. And it will push out a horse riding an avocado. The avocado may or may not have legs, who knows? But it can be very helpful. So some of the examples that I use it for is I'm thinking of like a color theme and I'm not sure which one to do. So it's just like, okay, can you give me a floral color theme for a wedding, right? That is light, reminds me of the sunset. So you can use words, you can be more descriptive, and then it pushes out an image, a visual based on the description. Because sometimes, you have it in your head and you're not an artist, right? You don't know where to start on drawing this thing out or giving a visual example to others. So you type it in words, what you do know, and then it pushes out something beautiful. It's going to be a little weird looking. It might have 6 fingers or, 7 legs. But it'll get closer to the visual that you're looking for, and then you could get a graphic designer, artist, an actual artist to kind of clean it up, but you have a starting point. Go ahead.
Hi, Amit. My question, actually 2 questions.
Go ahead.
One is, with custom GPTs, you have to give them a lot of information about yourself in order for the GPT to be effective. So how does it get along with protecting my privacy? I know it should be end-to-end, I don't know, encrypted or whatever, but you said be careful what you give to the GPT to know about yourself. So that's one. The second thing is, sometimes I have a subscription to ChatGPT. Sometimes when I use it, or a lot of the time when I use it, it doesn't give me, or it gives me fictional facts. So how can I protect myself of fictional facts, or how can I make sure that things that ChatGPT gives me, or tells me, it actually exists, accurate?
Yeah. So the first part about feeding it more information, like I said, you have to give them more information, and you have to be mindful. So you have to decide as an individual, how much am I going to give? So maybe things that can be anyone, maybe my gender, maybe even my exact birthday. There's at least 100 people around the world with your exact birth date, time, location, whatever. So you have to be you have to accept both all the consequences, both good and bad. You do not know where this is going to go. It says encrypted, but who knows? Right? You don't know. So you have to say, whatever I put in here, I'm comfortable with it going completely south and with it working out. Right? So that's how you make the decision. And that's how you have to make the decision with any technology, with any tool that we use, right? Am I going to invest $10,000 or am I going to invest $100, right? That's the decision there. And the second part, I had the question. Just say this a question again.
About the fictional facts.
Yes, the fictional facts. My people, we are all lazy. And so research, you have to go and fact check, right? If you Google search something, fact check. If you put it in ChatGPT, fact check it, or ask it to provide the sources. So literally after it sends you the report, say, can you provide me the link to all the sources that you just listed? Click on a couple of those links, right? Do not just take it and run with it. Click on a couple of those links, because you start clicking on the link, you're like, wait a minute. This is a satire blog. You just told me aliens are coming. Now I got a whole aluminum hat on and it's a satire blog. It just happened to be 10 satire blogs saying the same thing and I thought it was factual information. So it's up to us. Again, we have to not just be lazy when it comes to these things, right? If you want better solutions, and that's what I said, the AI could do repetitive tasks, but if it's too simple or if it requires human empathy or more thinking to it, we need to just do it ourselves. And the AI should be removing those repetitive tasks or super complex tasks that we literally would take 4 days to get done. Have it handle that, and then the things that really require or time and attention or, knowledge, right? Knowledge work, right? Us thinking about it, us feeling it for a while. Then that is what the humans and the people should be focusing on.